Hello friends, today I'll be taking you through the basic of the identity property of a table column. So the syntax is straight, pretty much simple. So whenever you're creating a table or altering a table, you you can specify the seed and incremental value with the keyword identity. So here is the example. So if you don't specify any seed or incremental value, then system will consider the default value as 1 and 1. So let's just create the table. So the table is created. If we do the property of this table, I am pressing Alt F1. So that will give the high level property of this table. Here you can see the identity ID column is seed and incremental value is 1. So similar way we can specify the specific seed, and seed is the starting value and the incremental value. It should not be necessary that seed value should start from 0 1. It can be start from 0. So I'll be creating another table. So table B will start from the ID value 0, and the moment you insert record into the table, it will have the ID value incremented by 2. So just take a look the property of this table. So here you can see the seed value is 0, increment value is 2. So I'll be quickly inserting 2 rows into this table. So the 2 rows got inserted. Just check how the ID value is generated. So here you can see the starting value is 2, and the next row got the identity value as 2. If we insert 2 more record, every time the new record gets created, we'll get the ID value incremented by 2. If I just execute this table, it has 0, 2, 4, 6. So usually we'll specify the identity column, identity seed and incremental value is 1. You can specify the identity seed value to a negative value, even that incremental value. In this case, what happens the moment you insert a first record? So the first record will have value -1. The second record will have -2, -3, like that. So I'll be quickly creating this table to show you. So if I insert record into table C, just insert and parallel I will select. So here you can see the first row got ID -1, the second row got -2. So similarly, if I insert 2 more record into this table, so it will have -1, -2, -3, -4. So this is kind of experiment I did on with the identity. Not only the incremental value, we can have the decremental value as well. So since the data type of this ID column is int, it can have both negative as well as positive values. So in this example also I mentioned, so your identity seed or increment value can be anything. One thing to remember is this incremental value cannot be 0. So if you create a table with incremental value with 0, so the SQL server will not allow. It says the identity column ID contains invalid increment. So it cannot be 0. So because if we specify 0, system will not understand how to increment the identity value next time a row gets created. So if you want to see a specific a table seed and that incremental value, we have inbuilt function ident underscore c and ident underscore incr increment. So if we just execute for table c, so it gives the seed value as -1 and the incremental value is -1. So not only we can specify the decimal the ID column as the identity property for which whatever on whichever column we are creating, it can be decimal as well. So the increment value can be a decimal digit. Just check this out. So I am creating a table G here with the ID column as decimal. Oh, identity column ID contains invalid seed. What is it? So it cannot be a decimal. What will happen if we create seed cannot be a decimal value? It's good to know. 1.0 will take 1.5. Let's see how this table gets created. So I think we cannot specify the decimal values, so it should be a full value here. So if I create one more table, this is just the experiment I did to know whether we can set the incremental value as the decimal. Yeah, good to know. So it accepts only the integer value as a seed. It can be so I'll go through in detail about this. Maybe we need to do casting here, or as of now our identity column can be a decimal. The incremental and seed value as of now we'll consider it as should be a numeric, either negative or positive. So as I mentioned before, a table can have only one identity column, and there are some table which is called as memory optimized table. So for those tables, so will be stored in a physical, will be initially stored in, it will be stored in database, but once the data get retrieved or restored, first it will be fully loaded into memory, and then the insert update happen and it will be committed back to the physical table. So those kind of table were called as memory optimized table. So for those table we cannot set the increment and seed value other than 1 and 1. So this comment I got it from the Microsoft documents. So it says the memory optimized table cannot, for the seed and increment value must be 1 and 1. So that's it for today. So in my next video I'll be going through the setting of the identity so that user can manually insert the identity column value. So as of now here you have seen So while inserting any value into table, we cannot specify if for the identity column, the system will automatically generate the number for this ID column. So if you want to turn off for some reason, so then this property, we can use this statement to turn off, and then we can turn it back. See, uh, so these things I will be explaining in my next video. Thanks for watching.